this video, I'm going to walk you through a student submitted resume and cover letter and go over some of the common errors that I'm seeing in the papers that I'm grading. So far, only about 5 or 6 people have completed the assignment, the Unit 1 first draft assignment correctly. And I just wanted to show everybody an example from this semester. So this was one that was submitted um, this semester, and it is a really good submission that followed the directions. So after you watch this or before this, go and check your grade for the assignment. If you have, I would say, a score that is between a 1 and a 7, then this video will probably be helpful to you. If you have a score of 8, 9, or 10, then you have probably already completed all of the things that I'm going to talk about in this video, so you can probably pretty safely not watch this if you don't want to. But I may go over some things that are helpful, so feel free to watch. So the directions for the assignment said to highlight parts of the documents that were mentioned or relevant to the job ad and the Unit 1 assignment description. So the main issue that I'm seeing over and over and over again is basically that folks did not read the directions, so they didn't follow the directions. And if you do that for the final assignment, your grade will reflect the level of adherence you followed for using the Unit 1 assignment description. So that's just a heads up. If you want to get A, B, or C on the assignment, you have to follow the directions. So for this example, I have just put these little gray boxes everywhere to try to make sure that this person's identity is not exposed. So as we're going through this. So at the top of the letter, they actually do have their name and their contact information, but for our purposes, we're going to look at the date. So a lot of letters didn't have the date or the return address. I mentioned in one of the other videos that you can actually just make up a return address, but it has to look like a real letter. So there are examples also in the textbook. You can also just Google the title of the job that you are applying for plus the word cover letter. So for example, you can Google medical assistant cover letter and you will find so many examples, and you can just follow those. If you have any questions, you can just always email me too. Another thing that this letter does correctly is that it has the 4 required paragraphs. So on the assignment description, it says you need to have an introductory paragraph, an education paragraph, an experience paragraph, and then a closing one. And so this person also included just one more sentence just to call out the fact that they are bilingual, and then they have sincerely, so that's their like closing salutation, and then their name is here. So your letter needs to be arranged in a similar way. And you can see that this letter is very easy to read and follow along with. All of the content is grouped together logically according to what the topic of the paragraph is about. So you can pause the video here and take a look, read this letter. The document is not perfect. Almost no document that anybody writes is perfect, but it is a really good example of what you too can produce if you follow along with the directions. So pause the video here, read, and just take a look if you would like, but I'm going to move along to the resume. But definitely for your final draft, make sure that you have the 4 distinct paragraphs. Make sure that you've done your best to use proper capitalization, commas, grammar, all of that stuff. Everything that you would expect to have to do in a writing class, because this is a writing class. So moving down here, again, I've just added the little box to preserve privacy. So this person chose to use the template that I provided. The template really makes it easy for you to see exactly where everything should go. It also helps you align everything. We'll talk about this alignment right here in a second, but if you don't have to use the template, but I made the template for you guys to make it easier to create the document that will have all of the information that you need, that has everything lined up, and it'll look really nice. So feel free to use the template, but again, it is not a requirement. So, over on the side, this person put the skills that are relevant to the job they're applying for. They have their profile up here. And then moving down, a lot of the resumes that I've reviewed so far did not include like a summary or a profile, and that's one of the requirements. The skills section is not required, but it is on the template, and you can feel free to leave it there. This person is, let's see, okay, I don't want to scroll down too much. So this person decided to include their education and skills, but not an experience section because they are kind of just beginning their academic career and their work career according to this, and that's totally fine. And that is also one of the reasons why I chose this resume, because one of the questions I get is, well, what if I don't have any work experience? Well, if you want to apply for an internship or any kind of like your first job, you will probably need a resume, and you have to figure out a way to include the information on the resume even if you don't have like proper or a lot of work experience. So this person did a great job of including basically their information related to their degree. So they have their degree here, they have their anticipated graduation date, they have the internship that they have completed and the dates for that, like it's upcoming, which is totally fine. You can put upcoming information on it too. Here, the issue is just that the text needs to go all the way over to the right margin. Excuse me. Like you see that the dates are. So that's an easy thing to fix. You can see that down here, it's written correctly, but that's an easy thing to fix. They also made sure that, so we're going to pretend like the dates are current, but for example, if this internship program was something that they were doing right now, like the current job, it would say assists, prepares, so forth. If it's something that you've done in the past and it's over, then you would use the past tense of the verbs like you see here. Alrighty. And so this person also had some volunteer work, and that's totally fine to include. You can see that based on the highlighting that they've used, that they have taken information from the job ad that's down here and included it up here. And it doesn't have to be like a one-to-one correlation. So for example, this community outreach position that I presume is a volunteer position since it's a church, but I don't know for sure, but I'm presuming that this is a volunteer position. Even though this is a volunteer position, if what you did here can be described using the same words or wording as your job ad, it's totally fine to take from the job ad and then use wording from the job ad to describe other things that you've done. So that is, again, totally okay. But you are supposed to include keywords and key phrases from your job ad in your resume and cover letter. And for the first draft, you were supposed to highlight. So that's why you see all of this is highlighted. You were supposed to highlight the areas where basically you've followed the directions. So the information that is from the job ad and the information from the Unit 1 assignment description. So again, that's why you see that this person has all of this green part, the highlighting. So I just wanted to quickly go over those things. If you did not follow the directions perfectly or closely this first time, that's okay. But make sure, because the class just gets harder. I'm just going to be honest with you. For units 2, 3, and 4, especially 2 and 4, they are more difficult. You will have to read. You will have to read the textbook. You will have to follow the directions. Um, and I just want to tell you that as honestly as I can, because I know that the class can be a little difficult. I personally designed the flow of the assignments so you have an easy start and an easy end. But in the middle, units 2 and 3 and 4, 2 and 4 specifically, they are much more difficult. So use this opportunity if you got a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 on this draft. Make sure to make the edits that I've told you to make. Use the Unit 1 assignment description. There's a checklist that tells you exactly what needs to be on each document. Make sure you follow the directions and get as best of a grade as you can on Unit 1. So in case you don't get a super great grade on Units 2 or 4, you still have a little bit of buffer so you can still pass the class with an A, B, or C, or you know what I'm saying. So I'm just trying to be very honest and transparent and try to help. So if you have questions about anything, just let me know. And again, make sure you try your very best on your final draft for Unit 1. If you have any other questions, email me, let me know. Take care.